So let's go ahead for the next session of the day, which is a demo session. That is a zero-day protection for mobile devices, vulnerability management in the world with blurred perimeters, which is IoT, increased mobility, cloud, and shadow IT. And we've got here Venugopal, who's aided by Pranay for this demo session. Over to you.
So we didn't want to give the gifts now so that none of you leave already, right? So, jokes apart, what we wanted to do is a real quick demo. We won't take too much of your time for this demo. The intent is to show how easily a mobile phone can be hacked. Live demo. We've seen certain vectors of attacks. One of you can give us your phones. We'll be happy to give us your phones, generate an OTP, and we'll be happy to pull that out and tell you what your OTP is. So, why we believe mobile security is an important topic, right? There's a story I'd like to tell. It's something I really love because it happened real to a CTO of a company. As much as he was in stress and distress, I just couldn't help have a laugh as to what happened. So I'm just going to narrate that before we get into this. This person is one of the top-notch CTOs of a company based in Mumbai again. His mobile phone was hacked. So what actually happened? He installed an app from the Play Store, not from anywhere else, not from any third-party Play Store, from the Google Play Store. The app installed on his mobile and it just disappeared, right? So which means that he thought the app is not installed. So it got installed on the device and it's not there. What this app used to do was at 12 India time, 12 as in midnight India time, it used to make a call to a command and control center in Estonia. So the guy is sleeping, but there's an international call happening from his mobile device every day. That call goes on for 2 minutes, not too long. It's just a blank call which goes there. The hacker was getting money from those guys in Estonia. It got to a stage where he saw the bill, he got a heart attack, and then he had to put his mobile on flight mode before he goes to sleep every night, and that's when he reached out to us. Then we found out that there was indeed a malware which was on his phone, and then we had to remove this malware. Only then it started working. It was not harming his official data in any way, but it was harming his wallet at the end of every month. So that was what it was doing. So we have seen about 3-4 vectors of attacks in mobile devices. One is, of course, jailbroken and rooted devices, which is a common problem. The minute you do that, you're allowing somebody to get into your mobile device. The second thing is we all love free Wi-Fi, right? So I love free Wi-Fi. When I'm in the airport, that's what I want to do first. Save on my data bills and then connect to the free Wi-Fi. That is a key target for man-in-the-middle attacks, which means that somebody is snooping on these free Wi-Fi networks, and when data is passed from your device to the Wi-Fi, they're in between and pulling all the data. Third is, of course, you install an infected app, and that app takes control of your mobile device, which means that it is able to pull out your photographs, it is able to pull out your contacts, documents on your phone, your location, where you are currently. It records the microphone and things like that. So we just want to do a short demo. We'll take 2 of these vectors of attacks. One is an infected app. So Pranay will show us what happens when an infected app is on the phone. I'll let him explain what he's trying to do as well. And the second would be a man-in-the-middle attack. So we'll just quickly take some time and I'll hand it over to Pranay.
Thanks, Venu. I think I used that money. So, would somebody like to be a volunteer here with my phone, not your phone? So right, I'll just give my phone over here. And just hold the phone for me. Sorry, just hold the phone for me, and just make sure that the phone is locked. So what we'll do is right now, I'll just go into this phone and I'll say, start the camera, and click some selfies from the front camera. So if you see there, it's already clicking photos with even the phone is locked. So now I'll tell you the implications of this attack. So say for example, you are walking, you are a security guy in a bank, and you are walking in the bank. So you have these locker systems, right? If I know the series of lockers, or if I know some of the combinations of the lockers and who's accessing which locker, I can easily get into anybody's vault and I can do something. So say for example, if I'm a guy who's opening my locker there, he knows, okay, my locker number is 15, and he knows how to get access to there. Or something worse, if it's a personal attack, in your personal movements, he can take your photo and he can do something with that. So not just that, like just Venu was telling, right, you can make calls. I'll just show you something. So who wants to get a phone call, or who wants my phone number can just raise their hand. I'll just give a call from my phone, standing here. That's fine. Yeah, the phone is with him. I think, yeah, somebody can share me your number. Yeah. 988-510. Okay, 510-2784. So I'll just say call, and automatically within next 3 seconds there will be a call which will go to him. So it's dialing your number. It was a Truecaller app because I used Truecaller on that. So that is one thing. No, no problems. I can send a SMS also as well to them. No problems. I can send a SMS as well. That's a nice and tricky question. So now, while the the app is getting the SMS details, the most secure thing for you today is your OTPs. How many of you do banking transactions here from mobile phones or laptops on mobile, on internet? Everybody. So what is the thing that you get after you say I want to do this transaction? OTP. Great. So if you see here, this is my banking details. Everything is available here. All the SMSs, whichever is there, I can just have a glance at it. And right now, if somebody sends an SMS to me, I can pause that SMS right now in this app, and then I can Yes.
So this is like a hacker's command and control center. So the minute you install the app you want to install, he takes control through this CNS.
So if you see here, all the SMSs which are there here, you can see. And the worst part is, I can hold on a SMS, I can intercept a SMS, and I can change the OTP which is coming to you and use the original OTP for my use, which is very much possible today now, and it's very easy. I would just send him a good email or a SMS stating that there's a good app, like say for example we had this Pokemon Go. So this malware, this is a real malware, and it was attached behind Pokemon Go. And believe me, we have seen incidents where people have lost their personal photos and a lot of things. Yes. Not just that. If you go for third-party app stores, today there are many third-party app stores. If I want to download an app which is not available on Play Store or App Store, I just download it. Sure. That's a nice question. If it's a known virus, it will. But in place of mobility, in mobility's field today, every app that is being developed gets a new signature. So say for example, Facebook, there are n number of versions of Facebook available on Google today, Play Store or App Store, whatever app store we use. So what happens every time I do an upgrade, I'm having a new signature for it. So how will you keep a database for that? So if I keep a database for that, that goes on for GBs, and phone is not that big enough that I can store that.
I sent you an SMS. It's featuring on the screen now on the file.
Yes. So if I wanted, I could have intercepted that SMS, and I could have relayed a new message.
Can you do something to this phone?
No. I can send a malicious link to him so that he downloads the app and I hack into it, but I don't know how to do that.
Please don't.
Yeah, I have his number. Yeah. So one last thing, what is the critical information for a phone today? IMEI number, everyone here with me on IMEI number? So what if an app like this can take your IMEI number and duplicate a phone for you? This is identity theft, point number one. Point number two, with that identity, I can go in any country and do attack on anybody, and the person who will be caught is the original owner of the mobile. Yes. Yes. So, in between, in India, you never used to get phones with IMEI numbers, the Chinese phones. Then government of India said you need to have an IMEI number. This was the reason, because it is very easy to track a phone with IMEI device. So this is about it. I can still, do a lot of things here. Like I can get access to the file management or the file server, file storage which is there on the phone, be it the memory card or be it the internal storage. The phone is not rooted, so I cannot look into WhatsApp, else I would have seen the WhatsApp conversations also.
Why can't you go to WhatsApp?
So the phone has to be rooted. So I need to root the phone, and that's my personal phone, so I don't want to open it for more threats. So let's do one more thing. I would like to have one more volunteer. Yeah. Yes. So we'll come down to the solution part in just a few minutes. Yes, very much.
Yes. So just to add to what Pranay said, right? So phishing on mobiles are typically through SMS, right? You get an SMS with a link. So any hyperlink which is a phishing attack, we will be able to identify immediately and tell you, do not open that link. Right.
So I would need one more volunteer.
I just have a question. What do you want me to do? One question.
I have a volunteer.
Now, the level of security, does it differ from iOS to
Android?
Android?
It does. What we traditionally think is iOS is much stronger than Android in terms of security, right? So the security built in an iOS phone is much stronger than Android. That's what we think. The fact is it's the other way around. When iOS is out of their development, when Android is out of the development systems, so when Google launches Android and Apple launches iOS, the number of vulnerabilities that are there in the Android version from Google is much lesser compared to what iOS has. But the minute this goes to all the providers like the LGs of the world, the Samsungs of the world, and they start adding additional things on top of Android, this increases the number of security vulnerabilities in Android itself. So if you ask me, at a base level, when the launch happens, Android is much secure compared to iOS. But the minute it goes into the market, iOS stays much more secure than the Android.
Only Google phones are.
Google phones, yes. Yeah.
So
then at the end of the day, what you were saying is, anyhow it's going to the market and those providers will add something for their benefit. So end of the day, Android is more vulnerable than iOS.
Absolutely.
So what I did was I asked for a volunteer. He joined us here, and I asked him to enter a username and password in one of the websites. I asked him to enter a username and password in one of the websites on my iPad, and it is just connected only to my Wi-Fi network. But if you see there, the last line, he's keyed in some details, that is a temp user and a password, which is clear text visible.
So this is your iPad.
Yes. So anybody can give me your iPhone, I can do the same thing. I can intercept your traffic, whatever communications you are doing on internet, through my Wi-Fi. Yes. Yes. It's HTTPS as well. So what exactly happens in such attacks is, the SSL stripping is happening. So basically, with this, it is very easy. Also, I can bypass into a container. Container, when I say it can be a solution, a container solution. So I can bypass very easily, because end of the day, they also communicate on internet. I can see what files you are sending and what exactly is happening in the container as well.
So just to add to what he said, so when he meant a container, he meant a standard MDM solution, like IBM Master 360 or AirWatch, Mobile Iron, Citrix Zen, whoever. So the minute you're going to enter your username and password anywhere in your mobile device, there's an option for us to pull it out. which means that we have access to your container as well through an MITM attack. Everything,
Yes.
everything. So what we do is we have an integration with each of these MDM vendors. So which means that what I will do is I will set up an integration with our Sandblast mobile solution. So the minute a policy is pushed to you from the corporate on the MDM, it would say that if there is a threat which is detected on your mobile device, cut off access to my container or cut off access to my corporate network. So we'll be able to forcefully push this with an integration with our solution.
So the next thing is, how many of you want to be protected from such attacks? Everybody. So there's a solution which we have, which is called as Sandblast Mobile. So what it basically does is, it does 4 basic things. That is SMS. If there's a SMS phishing attack on an Android phone, we look into the SMS with hyperlinks and we say if the link is malicious or not. We also check whether the Wi-Fi network which you're connected is secure enough, or is it doing some SSL stripping and monitoring what data you're sending out. And then we also look at the OS vulnerabilities like jailbroken phones or rooted phones, or if there is really a vulnerability in the phone which has been found out recently, and if there's a patch available to it, we tell you to update that. And when you use applications, if it's a new application, we take it to our behavioral risk analysis engine, where we open the app in a sandboxing environment, we understand what the app behavior is, and then we give you a clear verification that app is secure or not. So if you want to secure your phones, this is one of the good solutions that you can use. Thank
So-
you.
What about iOS? Does it work?
Yes.
It works for iOS as well as Android. Just to add what the BRE does, right? The BRE or the Behavioral Risk Engine, just to add, an app like Facebook would also access your camera, right? And a malicious app would also access your camera. Now, what this engine does is try to differentiate which is accessing your camera for a genuine reason and which is accessing your camera for a wrong reason. And that's where we do the analysis of what the app is. We also look at who's the developer who's built the app, what is his reputation, what is the reviews he or she is getting, and multiple such parameters before we decide whether an app is infected or not, right? So this is how we are able to determine whether an app is 0-day or it's a genuine app. So
I think that's it.
So that was a short demo we thought we'll do. The reason to do this demo was also because a lot of us, including myself, are in the comfort zone when it comes to our mobile devices, right? Nothing's going to happen to my mobile device. So we just wanted to show you that it's not really true. If somebody really wants to do something, they can actually do it. And I'm glad Mr. Pranay is on our side because he's a master's in cybersecurity and forensics. Luckily, he's on our side and not the other side. So.
So may I invite Shrikant to give a small token of appreciation to the master so that he wouldn't hack into our phones.
Thank you. Thank you.